Welcome to a brand new episode of the Tennis Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Gianluca Sola. In this episode, I chat to Egon Samaai. Egon was a top South African junior tennis player from Paarl in the Western Cape, just outside Cape Town. He was ranked number 1 in under 16 and under 18 in South Africa. He went on to and obtained a scholarship to play college tennis in the USA. He studied and played at Liberty University in Virginia for the Liberty Flames. It's a D1 college. He was very successful there, and in the 4 years there, he won 74 singles, which ties him for the most in the program's history. Following that, he pursued a Master of Science degree in sports management for over 2 years, where he also coached the team as a volunteer coach. Currently, Egon is now coaching at the Cliff Drysdale Tennis Academy in Miami, Florida. Unfortunately, with COVID, I think he's a bit stuck in South Africa, but he should be leaving and going back soon, he told me. Another very interesting fact is that Egon comes from South African tennis royalty. His grandfather, David Samaai, he was a South African tennis legend. He was the first black South African under the apartheid regime to participate in Wimbledon. So he went to play Wimbledon in the 50s and I think 1960. Currently there is an ITF in Cape Town, a grade A, so it's the highest tournament level of ITF in Cape Town, and it's named after Egon's grandfather, David Samaai. Also, Egon was telling me this year, I'm not sure exactly when, but I'm looking forward to read it. There's going to be a book released on his grandfather called Davy Samaai, the People's Champion. So if you're interested to read up on that, please look it up. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon or any online bookstore. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode and have a nice day, or whatever you're doing, enjoy yourself. Ciao. Ciao, ciao. Hi, Egon. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks. Before we get going, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you well. Is everything okay on my side?
Yeah, no, perfect. I hear you very clear. Thanks, Egon, for taking some time this morning to come on my podcast. It's nice to have you. I just wanted to, before we go ahead, just to give a brief introduction for our listeners. Many of my listeners are from all over the world, so I just want to give them a bit of an introduction. You're a South African tennis player and coach. Correct me while I'm saying this, I might leave some things out, but you've had some amazing tennis achievements and an amazing tennis journey. You achieved South African national ranking in juniors, under 16 and 18, number 1. You then received a scholarship to play tennis and study at Liberty University in Virginia. You played there for the Liberty Flames, which is a Division I college. There you set the university record for career singles wins, which was 74. That's pretty amazing. And after that, you coached. You were a volunteer assistant coach for 2 years while you completed a master's degree. Currently, I believe you are coaching at Cliff Drysdale Tennis Academy in Miami, Florida. And another thing that our listeners is very interesting is that you come from a very famous, let's say, tennis background in South Africa. Especially your grandfather, David Samaai. He he was a legend from Paarl. Under the apartheid regime, he wasn't allowed to enter tournaments in South Africa, but he could play tournaments abroad, although he had to fund his own trips. And he participated in Wimbledon in 49 and in the 50s and in 1960, and he was the first non-white South African to do so. What's very nice is that only recently, I think, last year there was COVID, but the year before, Cape Town was given a Grade A ITF tournament. And that tournament has been named after him. For those who don't know, the Grade A is like the highest junior level tournament you can play. Like there's only 5 or 6, I think, in the world, and Cape Town has been given this one as well. Like the Orange Bowl or the Milan Avvenire, all the greatest players play those tournaments. So that's a bit of a background, but I mean, we'll talk more about you just now. Yeah, let's start off. Tell us about your tennis journey. How did you start playing, and how did it all begin?
Yeah, just first of all, thanks for having me. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. Also, thanks for that kind introduction. Yeah, you didn't really miss out on anything. But yeah, my tennis journey, like you said, I do come from one of the most tennis prominent families in South Africa. Starting with my grandfather, and he's obviously the one that coached me. Probably starting, man, I honestly don't even remember a time that I wasn't, holding a tennis racket or anything. So I think I probably started around 3 or 4 years old. So just messing around with him, just, hitting balls and stuff like that. We obviously have our own club here in Paarl. So as I got older, like it became very much a daily thing that I would practice with him after school. So it all started with him playing at our club. Eventually, when I was probably 8, 9 years old, I started to play some little tournaments in my area, and then obviously that's when I started to realize, like, hey, I could actually do this thing, because before that I just considered it messing around with my grandfather. So I eventually got pretty good for my age, and then started to enter bigger tournaments, started to do well in those, and then started to generate national rankings. So right around, I'd say 11, 12 years old, that's when I started to take it really seriously.
Right.
So that's when I started to travel a lot more, especially in South Africa for the bigger tournaments. And then from there, I went to Paarl Boys High, which is one of, if not the best school in the country for both sports and academics. I was lucky enough to that the school's 5-10 minutes away from my house. So there I got to join up with some of the with some of the best coaches that I've had in Robbie Blair and Eric Bester. So just being able to because that was pretty much the first time that I was able to be in that kind of environment where I was for the first time practicing with kids my own age, and being able to just be pretty much in a group environment where I wasn't just playing with adults and stuff like that, but I was also playing with my peers and traveling with my peers and stuff like that. So, and then from there, like you also mentioned, the ranking started to come, the bigger national tournament titles started to come. Started playing ITFs, and then it became good enough to get a scholarship all the way to Liberty in the USA. So it's been quite a ride. Yeah.
Fantastic. I live in Somerset West, and my kids go to school in Stellenbosch, so they might have something to say about Paarl being the best school in the country, but that's another long discussion.
That's a whole different debate. Yeah.
But I know what you mean. For the people who don't know, Paarl, Stellenbosch, there's a lot of little towns outside Cape Town, not far, which are more known as wine farm areas, and they're just absolutely beautiful. So if anybody comes to Cape Town, they're definitely places to visit. They're very, very beautiful. wonderful. I wanted to ask you, so when you were growing up as a junior, obviously your grandfather had a huge input, but did he actually like train you every day, or how much did you train, and with who, or did he kind of leave you at a certain age? As you said, you started playing in groups at school and so on.
So yeah, like I mentioned, like I grew, I learned my tennis from him at our tennis club. And it was very much a everyday kind of thing. So Monday through Friday, it was every day after school, and then Saturday mornings we would also play as well. But like I said, there wasn't really any other juniors at my club, so it was mostly adults playing socially. And that's the environment that I grew up with my tennis. And it wasn't before until I got to Paarl Boys High that I was really practicing with other kids. And so, but even then, even though I was practicing there every day, I would still, if time did, if time was on my side, I would still go to the club and still practice more there with him. So it was very much just private lessons with my grandfather, like maybe like 1.5 to 2 hours a day, and then after that I would still play, like a singles match here and there against some of the adults, and then we also played a lot of doubles there. So that was kind of the environment that I grew up in as far as tennis was concerned. But it was definitely had a good mix of everything. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So so that was quite a lot of tennis. Did you? Would you say your grandfather? Well, did he imprint the way you played, like your style and everything? Was it kind of modeled a bit on how he played, or how did that develop?
Yeah, I would say it's a bit. It was definitely heavily influenced by him. It was, like I said, it was a bit of everything.
Okay.
Just because he was, obviously he played in like the very classic way of playing tennis, very attacking tennis, serve and volley and all those things. And that's pretty much how I grew up as well. So we played very, very fast tennis. It wasn't until like I said, until I got to high school that I learned about consistency and grinding and all these different things. So he definitely imprinted an attacking style of tennis into me very, very early. So he always wanted that for that part of the game to come naturally to me.
Okay.
Because I think it's actually, now that I've become a coach myself, I can see why it's tough to learn to play attacking and not just grind the whole time.
Yeah.
Because you can practice grinding, not making mistakes, but being able to actually attack and finish off points, that's a skill that's pretty tough to develop. So I'm glad I learned it pretty early.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would go as far as saying I think that's even more difficult. But it's interesting discussion to have as well. And what is the best advice? Is there one piece of advice that maybe he gave you that stuck with you, or is there?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So. So like I said, that's the way that he taught me to play tennis. But for when I started playing tournaments for a 8, 9-year-old, even 10, 11, 12, 13, that's not really the most productive way to win matches, because, you're still very little, you're not very powerful. You still make a lot of mistakes playing that way. And so while I was having some success, when I came up against the better players who were more consistent than me, I was losing pretty easily. Just because at that age I didn't have the strength to actually get hit through them. Yeah. And so what he told me was just to stick with it, just because I saw like how the older players were playing, and I thought, yeah, that's definitely how I want to play. So by the time I reached, I would say probably 16, 17. That's when everything started to come together, and where the efforts of the way I was taught when I was younger, that's when it really came. That's when the success really came. So he just taught me to really stick with it, even though I was I was losing pretty badly against the top players, because he knew that coming down the line, it's really going to pay off.
Be beneficial. Yeah. Great. And then from there, you moved, obviously, you went to college. Was that always a goal for you to go, and play tennis in a college in the United States?
Mm-hmm. So it was a goal, but it was a goal that came pretty late in high school, probably when I was, 16, 17 years old. That's when I actually, because like I said, we were so secluded here in South Africa, I didn't even know about the American college system. It wasn't until some of the players that I knew that were, two or maybe 3 years ahead of me where I saw that that's the route that they were taking, where I started to look into it a little bit more. Because honestly, at the time, I didn't think that I would probably be good enough, to be honest. But then I saw that the players that eventually got scholarships, and I knew how I stacked up with them, so I knew it would be it would definitely be a possibility for me. And then by the time I really peaked, so to say, in juniors, that's when I started to get some offers, and it definitely paid off. I was very happy with my decision. So.
Okay, fantastic. And how was your years as a student athlete? Did you was it like a lot better than what you expected? Did you find it difficult? Did you end up really enjoying it? How was your years? College?
Yeah. So it was very much. You can pretty much ask any other 4-year student athlete. It's very much a roller coaster, especially when I first got there. When I first got there, it was such a big. I was used to traveling and stuff like that, but I've never experienced such a big culture shock as far as the American way of life, but also the college tennis system, because you get there, and I remember we went to my very first tournament as a freshman, and we played at the University of Georgia, and there was like 20 to 30 other teams there, and I really got a scope of what this thing actually is, because I've never seen that many good tennis players in my life, and it was just such a complete shock to me. And that I would say I really struggled that first year, just both on and off the court. It was really a big adjustment, but then once I came back for my second year, then I kind of knew what to expect. It was, I would say, especially my last 2 years, it really, everything just came together and was definitely the best 2 years of college for me. So it was just, like I said, it was very much a culture shock, but once you buy into the way of doing things there and the hard work that comes with it, it definitely pays off. So.
Okay. Fantastic. And for a South African, I know we have a lot of kids that try and go across and get a scholarship and play tennis. Is it? Would you say, as you said, it's a huge shock? Is it why? Because of the workload, the culture? What is the major thing that really stood out in that first year or two? The training.
Well, that's
I don't know.
That's yeah. So like I said, I never even my time at Paarl Boys High, I never experienced that kind of training, and I never experienced that kind of environment. So it's especially coming in as a first year, I never practiced with so many people that were so much better than me.
Okay.
So just being beaten so badly, even by my own teammates, that was such a shock to me. But then obviously I saw the upside of this is like, hey, I get to actually train with these guys and see how much better I can get, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I just tried to flip the idea of what was going on there, and then also just the competition side of things, because here in South Africa I was so used to, especially like the early rounds of tournaments, you might get an easy match here and there, you can literally settle into the tournament, but there everything is just a tough match. There's no easy matches. So, and even if you lose like first or second round and you have to play back draw, that's still a grind as well. You're still playing against amazing players every single time. So, so that was a big shock to me. That was a very big shock to me. But once you once you kind of settle down and you really start to find yourself as a player, that's when things really start to become fun. So
Okay. So did your tennis improve dramatically in a short period of time there?
yes, very much. Like especially that first year, but it's weird because you don't really see it because like I said, my results that first year was not that good. So when you don't I never really knew like how much I actually improved until I came back to South Africa and I played a couple of tournaments here. So it was especially after my first year.
Okay.
So like I said, I was training every day with these guys that are better than me,
Yeah.
and I was playing against other schools with players that are much better than me. So I was still winning a few matches here and there, but still losing a lot.
Yeah.
But because of those losses, I never really saw just how far my tennis came along.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I came back and the people who know me and they saw how I play, they said like, wow, you improved a lot.
Okay.
So that's when I really got an idea with it, and then going from there to my second, third, fourth year, that's when like my identity on the court, like everything really came together, and so that's when I was able to really rack up some wins.
Okay. I always wanted to ask this. What do you think is the difference between, say, a Division One college tennis player in a first or second position in his team, and the rest, say, like a D2 Division Two player or free player or lower position Division One players? Is there a huge gap, and what makes them different or better players?
Honestly, there's especially that jump from Division One to Division Two. There's really not that much of a jump as far, especially like the top players in Division Two. Like there are some. I mean, you can if you look it up, like there are some amazing schools with amazing players. But it just suits them better to. It might suit their schedule. It might suit their goals a little bit better to go Division Two. But it's like especially the top players in Division Two, they could easily be playing Division One. They could have easily gotten scholarships. It's just that's the route that they chose. But then as far as depth in the lineup, of Division One and Two, that's where the big difference comes in.
Okay.
So while you might your top two players in Division Two for every team might be really good players, they don't quite have the depth as a standard Division One team. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay, and then on the other hand, do you think what do you think are the differences between a top college tennis player, Division One, let's say, or two, whatever, and a professional futures player on tour? Is there a very big jump there as well in level?
Yes, it is. I would say it's a very big jump just because of all the supports. Obviously, the level is different. Like I mean, that's pretty obvious. But it's just the support structures that are in place in college that help you to succeed. That completely falls away once you go on the professional circuit. So the comfort of having a team, of having your travel taken care of having nutrition and rehab and all these things taken care of for you, well, now you're on your own when you have to go professional. So you take all that away, and then you add the mental pressure of having to do everything by yourself and having your livelihood dependent on how much wins you can get.
Yeah.
Well, that adds a whole different mental side to the game, and then obviously you have to progress on the court as well with your X's and O's plays, and so it's that's why you see so many. You see, obviously there's the college players that try to go pro. They're all good enough, but it's just the mental ask, I think, is sometimes too big.
Okay. Yeah. I thought about that. The actual lifestyle and the everything that comes, not just playing tennis on the court, but everything around it, that is very important. Yeah. And then you became a volunteer assistant coach. How did you end up doing that, and did you enjoy it?
Yeah, so that was probably my two of my favorite years, just because I always knew that I wanted to go into coaching. over trying to go professional. Coaching was always so very appealing to me. But I always intended to go back to Liberty to finish another 2 years of school to get my master's degree. And so what a lot of people do is they end up, still helping out the team and getting a taste of what coaching is actually like. And so being able to coach under my coach, Chris Johnson, and then eventually Derek Schwant and Beck Pennington, they gave me, it's a volunteer assistant position, but they gave me so much responsibility. It felt like a full-time job at times. So I was very thankful to that, but also being, only 1 year removed from being a player to a coach, I ended up coaching some of my teammates as well. So that was
That must be
that was unique. That was a very, very unique experience. But especially since I graduated, that last year, I was our team captain. I was doing very well. So that respect that I had with the players who, were my teammates and actually my friends, obviously, that relationship was already there. So being able to transition to being actually the coach and having the coaching, the player coach relationship, it came much easier than I thought it would. And that's, I learned so much about the game from those coaches, and just being able to analyze, player against player. That was such a fun challenge for me.
Fantastic. Is it something that maybe sparked in you a desire to become a coach and to bring it to make it your life job? Let's put it that way. Or
well, I would say that the coaching experience at Liberty just cemented that. I always knew that I wanted to coach. Like I said, even though my grandfather was a player, he was a coach for most of his life. So I come from a family of predominantly coaches. And then also, when I was on the team or when I was at high school or anything like that, I always got a lot out of helping other players as well. So whether that be my teammates or even just little kids or adults that ask for pointers here and there, I always love being able to, see other people progress as well. And so it was just so natural for me to transition into a coaching role.
Okay. And I met you at a tournament the other weekend, just by chance. But you've been stuck in South Africa now. I don't know how long. Obviously, for all this this COVID thing going on, as we know. How long have you been back here now? Has it been a while?
Yeah, it's been pretty much exactly a year now.
Wow. Okay. And
yeah, so it's been.
You mentioned.
Yeah, I was initially.
Sorry. Yeah.
I was I initially came back last year January, just to come home, spend time with my family, and then I was supposed to go back last year April, and then that's when the virus hit, and so I've been kind of stuck ever since. Yeah.
But you are going back shortly, am I right? You mentioned maybe March.
Yes. So the plan is for March. Yeah. But we see, like I said, anything can still happen. Like I think yesterday or 2 days ago, America just announced that they're not letting South Africans into the country right now because we have a variant of the coronavirus. So they're not allowing South Africans in right now. So hopefully by the time it's March, everything will clear up a bit, so I can head back.
Yeah. I was going to say that because after you did your masters, you ended up coaching or getting a job at one of Cliff Drysdale's tennis centers in Miami, Florida. Is that correct? And how did you get that? How did you find that job?
Yeah, so I've been, like I said, most of my summers in college as well. It wasn't just spent training as well, but it was also building relationship in the coaching industry, especially in the States. And then once I graduated, I I saw a listing for the position online, and I obviously knew Cliff Drysdale tennis is so big in the States, and so I knew a bunch of other players and friends of mine and connections that went because
Sorry, Egan.
that worked for Cliff as
Sorry,
well. So
sorry,
yeah.
Egan. I just wanted to interrupt you because maybe some listeners don't know, but Cliff Drysdale is basically a South African tennis legend. He was number 4 in the world. He was one of the people who created the ATP and was its first president, I believe. As you mentioned to me, I mean, we don't get ESPN in South Africa. We have recently, but they don't show tennis much. But he's been a commentator for ESPN, I think, from the very beginning. And
Yes, that's right.
And he created also this Cliff Drysdale Tennis, which is a huge operation, a full-service tennis company, management company that does anything related to tennis. In the US, I see they have centers everywhere in beautiful places, also in Hawaii, Costa Rica, and so on. So that's just for people who don't know. He's actually quite a very important tennis figure. By the way, have you ever met him? Because he is still alive.
Yeah, so Cliff Drysdale, he's still alive. But yeah, like I said, he does a lot of the commentating work for ESPN tennis. So a lot of the Grand Slams and the main ATP Masters tournaments, I recognize his voice immediately. But I never actually got to meet the guy. So I work at the facility that I work at in Miami is actually where Cliff Drysdale tennis actually started. So that's where the whole operation started for him. And so obviously he stayed in Miami for the longest time. But right when I got that position, they moved the whole head of operations to Austin, Texas. And so right when I got to Miami, that's when he moved there. And so I never actually got to meet him. But I always had that connection with him because way back in the day, my grandfather actually used to play against Cliff quite a bit, and they would do exhibition matches. So I always wanted to meet the guy.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Yeah. And what's your typical day there? Yeah.
It's like I said, it's a whole mix of everything. It's obviously a lot of time spent on court. So it's anywhere from 3 to 4 hours in the morning and 3 to 4 hours in the afternoon as well. So it's a mix of everything: juniors, adults, tournaments, special events that we host. So it covers the whole coaching spectrum and management spectrum of what tennis can actually be. So it's really quite the learning opportunity for me, because it's not just strictly coaching, but also it's management development, and eventually that's kind of the route that I want to go down. So I want to be able to eventually manage one of these facilities and kind of make my own decisions as well. So I'm like I said, I'm learning a lot right now.
Okay.
So I'm just very thankful for the experience.
Yeah, no, that looks. I mean, they look absolutely beautiful in beautiful settings. Are you the one? I had a look on the website. Is it the one in Key Biscayne, the one you're in? Or?
Yes. Okay. So it's at it's between the Ritz-Carlton Hotel and Crandon Park. So I'm not sure if you remember Crandon Park, but that's where they used to play the Miami Open.
Yeah.
Before it got moved.
Yeah.
So that's so it's between those two facilities on Key Biscayne. Like I said, it's a very small island, like in the Florida Keys. But it's so tennis crazy. Like the tennis culture there is so vibrant and alive that it's such a fun environment to be in, because you everything just seems so familiar, being surrounded by tennis enthusiasts that much.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I have to ask you this: are you do you see yourself staying? I think you kind of answered in the USA, and or do you think you might return one day to South Africa?
So that's still pretty much up in the air right now. I think for right now, I'm very happy where I'm at. Like I said, I'm still somewhat young. So I still have a lot to learn. And I think where I am right now, that's still the best place to be. But I also feel like I have so much to offer here, especially to my people back at my club where I am right now. So there's still a lot of work that I want to do here. So it's just being able to manage what I need to be doing now, and also very much long term down the road what I still want to accomplish here in South Africa. So I'm still trying to balance, trying to balance what that actually looks like long term. But there's definitely both goals here in South Africa and in the States that I still want to accomplish. So
fantastic. Excellent. That's really interesting. You've definitely kind of done a route which involves so many already. I mean, as you said, you're very young and you've already done so many experiences, both from the junior and then college and then what you're doing right now. It sounds great. Egon, I've got. I usually end my my podcast with this mega rapid fire quiz. There's like a ton of questions. Okay. I'm going to throw at you, and you can just say one word or elaborate. It's up to you. It's just a fun thing. So, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. What's your very first memory of tennis?
Just seeing my grandfather play on the courts, definitely.
Define to us what type of player you are, if somebody's never seen you play.
Big serve, big forehand, very much attacking, doesn't move well, but hey, that's okay.
Okay. Sounds like me, but without the big serve and forehand.
There you go.
Which pro, if there is one, would you say your game resembles the most?
I would say Del Potro.
Okay, I would have thought that. Yeah, your best shot.
Yeah, serve by far.
Yeah. Tennis idol growing up.
Pretty easy one. Roger Federer.
Okay. By the way, what speeds on average is your first serve?
That's, man, I never actually got to officially, measure it, but I think I can get it upwards of, 200 to 210 kilometers an hour. I think I can get it up there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Current favorite player, can be male or female.
I would say on the men's side of the younger players, I would say probably Stefanos Tsitsipas.
Okay.
He's my favorite right now. And then on the women's side, either Bianca Andreescu or Ashley Barty.
Okay. List the big three, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, from your favorite to least favorite.
Just like that, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. Okay.
Is there a best match you've ever played?
Oh man, there was a couple in college that I'm very proud of. There was especially like this. I remember this one weekend. We played two teams Saturday, Sunday, and it was our big in conference rivals. And so in both instances, both matches came down to me. So it was 3-3, and then the last match came down to me, and I was able to pull out both of those. So that was a very special weekend for me.
Best tournament in the world?
Wimbledon.
Favorite surface?
Grass court.
Best tennis shoes?
Either the Nike Vapors right now or the Asics, the new gel resolutions. Those are pretty good as well.
Which strings and tension do you use?
So I'm a hybrid guy. So Luxilon Alu Power in the mains, Natural Gut in the cross strung at 54.
Favorite all-time racket?
All-time racket? That's a good question. I would say probably the head Prestige.
Best tennis club or complex you've ever been to?
Um, I would say the Meadow Club of Southampton. It's in New York. I worked there for 2 summers, but it's essentially the biggest grass court club in the world. They have 38 grass courts.
Oh,
So
wow. Where is that? Outside
yeah,
New York?
it's in the Hamptons. So it's in Southampton, New York. The Meadow Club.
Yeah. Wow, that must be amazing. Here's your Tsitsipas question, because he's a Greek philosopher. Why do you play tennis?
Why do I play tennis? Man, there's a lot of reasons for that, but it essentially boils down to you can express yourself in so many ways on a tennis court. So that's what really draws it to me. Like you can play happy, you can play sad, you can play angry, and so it's such a big release for me as well. Just being able to just to hit tennis balls, it's really therapeutic.
Okay. What's the most amazing tennis experience you've had?
I would say outside of actually playing was being able to visit Wimbledon in 2011, to be able to watch Federer play on center court. That was very special, and then also being able to visit the U.S. Open 2 times.
Okay.
So just being able to actually see what the pros do and how they train and how they actually play matches. It was such a cool experience. Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I think I read somewhere on the internet. Did you play an exhibition with McEnroe?
Yeah, so they so it was part of the I think it's called the Power Share series, where a bunch of these former pros they travel all around the States and they play these exhibition matches, and so they came to my college at Liberty. So it was John McEnroe, Andy Roddick, James Blake, and Michael Chang. So they came there, and so they did their exhibition matches between them, and so we got to play a couple of points and spend some time on the court with them as well. So so being able to play with those guys was a lot of fun.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, book a restaurant and invite 3 players. Which restaurant and players will you choose or pick?
Oh man, that is so good. It would have to be a South African restaurant that that serves authentic South African food, just so I can share a bit of my culture.
Okay.
And then 3 players, I would definitely pick Federer, but then again, he's half South African anyway. And then probably Gael Monfils, and let's see, one of the other funny guys, probably like Dimitrov or someone.
Okay, all right. So have a good time. Do you like cooking?
I like eating.
Okay.
But I do. I mean, like I said, I can appreciate what goes on in the kitchen. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And my sister's actually a professional chef, so trust me, I can appreciate good food.
Oh wow! Does she work in South Africa?
She works in Cambodia.
Oh wow! Okay, wow.
Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
Outside of South African food, I would probably say sushi and just a lot of Italian meals as well. Yeah.
Pizza topping? Favorite pizza topping?
I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy. Just plain cheese is fine for me. Just like a mixture of cheeses. And if you're going really fancy, I would probably say like prosciutto or something.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Yeah, I'm a coffee guy.
Coffee. You got a favorite singer or band?
That's a good one. So I listen to probably a lot of hip hop, a lot of and a lot of house music. So I would say right now my favorite is probably Black Coffee. It's a South African DJ and producer that I really like a lot.
Okay. Do you like TV series?
Yes, I do. I gained a very, much more appreciation for me for TV and movies over the quarantine and all the lockdowns and everything. So pretty much everything on Netflix I've pretty much run through already.
Which is the latest one you've been watching? You remember?
I finished The Queen's Gambit. I just finished
Okay, yeah, that was good. Okay. If you have to choose city, mountain, sea, or countryside?
I would probably say C. Yeah, definitely C.
Are you superstitious? Many tennis players are.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't get it. Yeah, I really don't.
How many hours do you sleep on average?
I try to get 8 hours, but I would say it's closer to 6.
Okay. Favorite country? Can't be South Africa.
No. Besides South Africa, I guess. My favorite country. Well, I'm gonna say a place that I've never been to, but I've always loved Italy. It just has a mixture of a lot of history, a lot of art, a lot of culture and good food. So it's a place that I've always wanted to go.
Okay. If you ever go there, contact me. I'll give you a few suggestions. Favorite city?
Absolutely, yeah. Favorite city that I've been to? Yeah, probably Miami. Yeah, Miami's pretty cool.
Okay, wow. Is tennis the most difficult sport in the world?
I've had this debate so many times, and I would say absolutely yes. Because it does have, I wouldn't say a bad reputation, but it kind of has a reputation of not being that hard until people actually try it, and then they see just the skill required. But I would say tennis, it's almost like boxing, where it's like the perfect mixture of everything that an athlete could possibly be challenged by. It's the fitness, it's the footwork, it's the hand-eye coordination, it's the the ball sense as well. So just being able to master all those things, I mean, there's not a lot of sports that compares.
Yeah, I totally agree. Talent, technique, fitness, mentality in tennis. Put them in an order of importance.
Man, I would say, starting off, I would say technique first, and then fitness, and then talent. And what was the last one?
No, mentality.
Mentality. Oh, wow, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I'm going to have to rearrange that. I would say mentality first, because mentality influences everything else that you just mentioned.
Okay.
So it's definitely a way to approach everything else. But after mentality, I would go, technique, fitness, and
talent.
And talent, yeah. Talent is lost there.
How will tennis look like 30 years from now, like in 2050?
Ooh, I think there's going to be some big changes coming to tennis, especially, I would say, in the next 15 to 20 years, maybe the next 10 years. I think this gets the main driving force to what's going to happen for changing tennis is to make tennis more, I guess, appealing to a larger viewership. I mean, we see some of that happening now, especially for broadcasting.
Yeah.
So I think, as much as it pains me, I do see tennis coming down to a shorter format for the professional game. And I also see a lot more. I do see the ATP and the WTA becoming one organization. And I do think we're gonna. I hope to see a little bit more going back to some courts that are a little bit faster, so that we can get a good mix of all the different surfaces. So I do hope that, especially hard courts, we can see becoming a little bit faster, so that between the clay, the grass, and the hard courts, we can see just a whole variety of the way the game can be played.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Actually, I think we're going to see that soon in 5-10 years. As much as I like tennis as it is, it has to catch up with the present moment. People don't have attention spans anymore.
Exactly.
So it has to capture the audience, and they'll have to shorten it. And difference in speeds, I think, will make it more exciting as well. I'm going to give you all different shots. You must say the first thing that comes to your mind. Serve.
Okay.
Or a player.
Ace.
Ace. Okay. Return.
Novak Djokovic.
Forehand.
Federer.
Backhand.
Stan Wawrinka.
Volley.
Volley, I would say Stefan Edberg.
Drop shot.
Drop shot, Fabrice Santoro.
That's a good one. Movement.
Gael Monfils.
Mental toughness.
Rafa Nadal for sure.
Touch, feel.
Ooh, I would say Federer and Dustin Brown.
Okay. And last one, presence, aura.
Yeah, that's definitely Federer. I mean, the guy walks in everywhere, and you can just feel it. So I would definitely go with Federer.
Great. I have the last question for you. Ask yourself a question and answer it.
Ooh, that's good. That is so good. I would say I would ask myself, how has your relationship with tennis changed over the years? And the way I would answer that is, it has become much. I've definitely gained a much deeper appreciation for it. Just outside of just approaching tennis as strictly competitive, but actually understanding the culture behind, why everyone decides to play the sport and why it's important to engage with everyone in the community. Just so that we can see, the growth in the industry and just make our sport as sustainable as possible. So
okay, fantastic, Egon. I really enjoyed that. I got to know you a bit better, and it was really nice chatting to you. I hope you get to return back to the USA and to your job soon. And who knows? Maybe I'll see you again soon. But thanks again for coming on the podcast. It was really great.
Thank you, Gianluca. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. I definitely appreciate just all the questions you asked and the research that you did on me, obviously, and my family. So I definitely have a deep appreciation for that.
Great. Okay. Have a great day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You too.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye.